All right, Oklahoma State and BYU. We've got BYU 9-point home favorites, 55.5 the total here in this game. BYU at home at night at Provo. That's a tough spot to bet against. I'll tell you that. Although it was a day game, an afternoon game against Arizona, they still won handily, 41-19. They're 6-0 on the season, straight up, and ATS. I ain't stepping in front of them. And I was on BYU last week. Retzlaff is good. They have a good run game with Ropati. And obviously they can get the LJ Martin as well. He's good pass catcher as well. He can catch the ball. They have Darius Lassiter and Chase Roberts, outstanding receivers down the field for Retzlaff as well. It's a really good football. And their defense, man, it's getting better by the week. Fafita and Arizona have a pretty good offense. Held them to 19. Shut down Kansas State here in this venue. 9 points in a 38-9 win. Shut down SMU when they went on the road and they beat the Mustangs. They struggled a bit at Baylor defensively, but no, their defense, other than that, they haven't given up 20 points, in any game this year, BYU. So, and Oklahoma State, I'm worried about them officially. The way they played, now they are off a bye. It's Gundy off a bye. I don't love betting against that usually, especially when they're a dog, but the warning signs are that this season's about to fall apart for Gundy and the Cowboys, because that Utah loss was crushing, and they did not respond after it. They let it linger, Cranberry style. Do you have to let it linger? They did. They let it linger after the Utah loss because they got hammered by Kansas State. They got shredded on defense. They didn't play well. Bowman struggled, and same thing with the West Virginia game. Bowman struggled again. Defense couldn't get any stops in that game, and Garrett Rangel ended up replacing Bowman at quarterback at the end of that West Virginia game. It's the warning signs of an Oklahoma State team that can Mike Gundy get it back on the track again with this team now that they're 3-3. They're going to be up. They've already got 3 conference losses. Their Big 12 title hopes are probably finished. That's not an easy ask for Mike Gundy to pump this team back up and get them in the right psyche and the right mindset again for a game like this against BYU. And it's a night game. It's Friday night, obviously, 10:15 Eastern time, and it's always tough to win there at night. So, and they're 6-0 straight up and 6-0 against the spread. Why would I go against a team that's perfect ATS? Kind of like Army. Why at this point in the season would you go against them when they've covered every single point spread? I feel the same way about BYU. So it's BYU or pass for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
I mean, yeah. The only thing you could look at is, Gundy.
Gundy is a dog off a bye week. I mean, that's been a home run spot for him.
It's a little bit, and this is the home run spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't. Like, I've seen him. Yeah, there's been a few 6-6 seasons for them, but I don't because this always is a slam dunk spot for me with BYU. It's made me a ton of cash, and Arizona has problems offensively too. As much as I want to give BYU credit, and I do, but I don't know. They got to refix their offense there at Arizona. When they have with Fafita, they gotta do more, and they're not. Yeah, how could I jump off BYU? Maybe it's just a game I stay out because I want to be on him. And this has moved up already, 8.5, 9. It opened 7.5 last night. I'm a BYU backer, yeah, and they're 6-0 ATS at night. Can Oklahoma State hang around? I don't know. I don't know if they can. They're not good defensively.
No.
Unless things have changed this year. That's been kind of the thing I've seen the most. They've just been awful. There, Oklahoma State. They were at home. OT Thriller beat them last year. BYU was getting 17. Bunch of points in that one. Maybe over a little bit. I don't know. I gotta, to me it's BYU or nothing. I can't get off the train right now a little bit.
I agree with you. There's no question. I would look at probably.
And I was kind of been on them early, man. Like BYU. I've took them since the Southern Illinois game when they covered at home. I thought that was low, and SMU, and K-State. So, yeah, been a darling for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's definitely something to. It's been disappointing. I mean, my Oklahoma State to win the Big 12 is shot. Utah to win the Big 12 is probably shot now as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not going to win any Big 12 futures. I can tell you that from from before the season. That's definitely not happening. Let me see as far as the what am I looking at here? BYU can absolutely win the Big 12. This is wide open still, this Big 12.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
not BYU at this point? Arizona State could. We thought BYU and Arizona State, everybody thought this. It would be two of the worst teams in the conference this year, and they can win the conference right now, both of them.
You know what, this year, too, after this, I mean, they're at UCF. I think it's gettable if BYU on the road. And I mean, at Utah, of course, which is just tough. But maybe this year, with this team, at least that game could be tight. Those are the next few games for them, road games.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's going to be interesting to see how this one. Now, Ollie Gordon's. We need an APB alert for him, Robert.
Oh,
he's
right.
been this year. I mean, geez, he's supposed to be one of the best.
He's collecting that cash. He's chilling on the couch.
It sure seems that way to me. All right,
their line's the problem, though, a little bit. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you got a guy that good and he's not finding
holes,
not
a good run blocking unit they have on that O-line at all. No, that's a big problem too.
Tough.
It's not all on Gordon. Like, Gordon just didn't lose his talent from last year to this year. You got to have the blocking up front to find those holes, to get to the open field, and he just hasn't been getting that, consistently from Oklahoma State this year.